NASA has recently shifted its approach to Venus, sparked by newly identified evidence suggesting the presence of life during past explorations. This interest arises from a key question: what is the most fundamental and reliable way to search for life in the universe? According to NASA, detecting unusual or anomalous gases in a planet's atmosphere, especially those associated with life processes, is the best method. These weird gases aren't merely unusual, they are often connected to the biological activities of living organisms. Back in the 1960s, when space exploration was still in its early stages, Venus was widely believed to be an inhospitable planet. Records from NASA indicate that, at the time, Venus was viewed as an extremely hostile environment due to its intense heat and atmospheric pressure. Mars, by contrast, seemed more promising and became the preferred destination for exploration, especially within the competitive atmosphere of the space race. The Soviet Union, however, set its sights on Venus, sending multiple missions in an effort to unravel its mysteries, even as Mars captured the attention of US scientists. This preference for Venus marked a unique Soviet approach that diverged significantly from the US focus on the Moon and Mars. Astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson has played a role in examining the details of these Soviet missions to Venus, noting the insights available in recently declassified Soviet documents and images. The geopolitical climate of the time, with the USSR striving for secrecy, led to many space exploration achievements and associated data being hidden. This tendency toward confidentiality extended to information on intelligence operations and even potential encounters with extraterrestrial elements. During the early years of space exploration, the USSR held a prominent role, particularly regarding missions to Venus, known to them as Venera. The Soviet Union's Venera program spanned from 1961 to 1983, a series of missions that showcased their commitment to exploring Venus in contrast to the US lunar pursuits. Most of what is known about these missions comes from recent disclosures, which reveal both the successes and failures of the Soviet space program as it tackled Venus' forbidding environment. The USSR invested heavily in Venus exploration, launching 28 spacecraft, with 13 of them successfully entering Venus' atmosphere and making it to the surface. The first of these, Venera 1, also called Sputnik 8 in the West, launched on February 12, 1961. This spacecraft, weighing around 1,400 pounds, represented the USSR's engineering advancements and included sophisticated technology like a magnetometer and micrometeorite detectors. Despite its potential, Venera 1 failed to fulfill expectations due to a launch malfunction that left it trapped in Earth's orbit. A subsequent attempt by Venera 1 did pass Venus in May 1961, a significant milestone, but the probe was ultimately unable to transmit data back to Earth. Following this, Venera 2 launched on November 12, 1961, with high hopes, yet faced a similar fate. The mission encountered an issue with overheating, which disrupted its course and caused the loss of contact with the probe by March 4, 1966. Soviet scientists recognized that overcoming the overheating problem would be essential for subsequent missions, leading to enhancements in the design of Venera 3 through Venera 6 in the late 1960s. Although Venera 3 crash-landed, it provided valuable data that informed subsequent attempts, allowing the USSR to adjust its approach to cope with Venus's challenging conditions. Despite the setbacks and the financial strain imposed by the Cold War, the Soviet Union persevered. This determination yielded notable results with Venera 4, which, despite facing Venus's extreme temperatures and atmospheric density, managed to collect data for 90 minutes. This data revealed Venus's carbon dioxide-rich atmosphere and absence of a magnetic field. However, these findings dampened Soviet hopes of discovering life on Venus, as the planet's greenhouse gas levels rendered it inhospitable. Even with these bleak findings, interest in Venus did not completely fade. Venera 5 and Venera 6 missions in particular marked significant progress, transmitting nearly an hour's worth of data as they descended through Venus's atmosphere. These findings clarified the extreme conditions on Venus, with the Soviet Union ultimately recognizing the impossibility of sustaining life as we know it due to the planet's extreme heat, high pressure, and toxic atmosphere. Despite these discouraging results, Soviet space agencies retained a deep interest in Venus, refocusing their research on astrobiological possibilities. By examining classified images and data from the Venera missions, the Soviet Union found indications that encouraged speculation about extraterrestrial life. It appears that Soviet researchers, until at least 2021, had unique insights into Venus, potentially waiting for technological advances to fully leverage their discoveries. This was demonstrated by the successful Venera 7 and Venera 8 landings, significant milestones in interplanetary exploration that reignited Soviet interest in space. Venera 13 marked a high point, successfully capturing high-resolution images during its 127-minute mission on Venus's surface in the Phoebe Regio region. The mission images, now reanalyzed by researchers, reportedly captured 3 unusual objects that Soviet scientists speculated might possess astrobiological significance. Dr. Leonid Ksanfomality, the lead investigator at the Russian Academy of Sciences, identified objects that seemed to respond to environmental changes on Venus, including a shape-changing entity that appeared within the mission's first 13 minutes. The most remarkable was a creature resembling a scorpion, which appeared around the 19th minute and raised the possibility of alien life forms adapted to Venus's extreme environment. These findings, however, remained classified for decades, likely due to concerns over potential U.S. interference, given NASA's superior funding. Historical records affirm that Venera 13 was a major success for the Soviet Union, and its images, finally public, sparked new interest in the planet. Roscosmos, Russia's current space agency, now sees Venus as a key destination, planning a new mission to the planet by 2029 to continue the legacy of the Venera program. In a recent discussion between Tyson and astrobiologist David Greenspun, the idea of Venus hosting floating cities of life in its atmosphere was explored. Although such ideas might sound fantastical, the discovery of phosphine gas in Venus's atmosphere has renewed scientific interest in its potential for hosting life. This phosphine presence has shifted attention back to Venus, particularly in assessing its atmospheric layers, where conditions might allow for the survival of microbial life. According to Tyson, this discovery has reignited global interest in Venus, highlighting its significance in the ongoing search for extraterrestrial life.